Well, we are here in the last day in New York City, and it got me thinking about one thing that, to be honest, if I would have known ahead of time for this travel, would have made my life a lot easier. See, when it comes down to photography in New York City, since you have a lot of skyscrapers and city, scapes and everything like that, I noticed that because of the proximity of it, having a wider lens really goes a longer way than having anything mid-range to telephoto. My 35 to 150 is a great lens and I love it. It just produces such just amazing images. I took a lot of photos with it here because I kind of forced myself to do it. And as well for other, videos that I had to do where I had to use this lens for videoing and the other lens for photos. So the one thing that I really noticed is that with the 20 to 40 by Tamron, I just use it quite a bit because of the size, but also because of the focal range. Having that wide at 20 millimeters really helped me out to capture a lot of good architecture photos and lookup shots and everything, while still having the good mid-range of the 35 and the 40. I was able to capture just nice portraits that way that just made a lot of sense to be able to bring it around the city a lot easier than having to worry about, lugging around my 35 to 150 with how big it is. And it kind of just made me think that in reality, going forward for like cities like this in general, like whether it's New York City or anything with close proximity where I don't really need to be focusing so much on the kind of portrait style. I think of the lens, whether it's the 20 to 70 f4 or maybe the 24 to 70 kind of style, or even the 28 to 75 by Tamron would make sense for something better than bringing a 35 to 150 or a 50 to 300 of that sort. I only brought the 35 to 150 because I didn't really have anything else, but I could have brought my 20 to 70. I just wasn't sure that I wanted to bring only an f4 for that and then a 20 to 40. So I wanted to have a little bit extra range, but hindsight being 2020, I probably would have been better off just bringing the 20 to 70 and then my 20 to 40 to just condense down so that I wasn't, breaking my back. But at the end of the day, I am willing to bring the gear to make the content that I want to. I just know that it would have been a little bit easier to do that for the future. I did have the 50 to 300, but being a 4.5 and a 6.3, not the most ideal for low light. And as well, here in the city, you don't really need anything that is essentially that much telephoto because of how everything is close by. Even when I went to the one Vanderbilt, we were up in the sky, basically high up in the building. You could see everything, and even using the 35 to 150 was a lot. I had to most of the time try to change it up with my 20 to 40 to try to take certain photos because of the wideness. Because at the end of the day, the 150 reached so much. I did force myself to use the 50 to 300 just to get a little bit of kind of detail shots of architecture, but is it needed every time? Not really. And that's something that I was just kind of thinking about a lot more as I was progressing with the travel that we did here in New York City. Especially going on the photo walk with Ben, we just essentially were walking so much that my shoulder started hurting because I have like this little guard thing for my shoulder that I usually use for my camera to just rest on it. And usually how I do it, I have both of these cameras, one for photo, one for video, so I can do my videos when it comes down to the YouTube channel, and then obviously take photos with the other one. So I have to put one on my shoulder while I'm taking photos and everything, then take it off and do that. And that's partly my perfectionism issue because I just wanted to, be high quality, bring it like if it was like a TV show for you guys, because it's the experience that you're gonna be watching the channel for that aspect because of the quality, the education and everything like that, that it makes me want to always have the best kind of like footage in a sense to make sure that it looks great while people are entertained and listening and everything like that. For future travels, I think I'm gonna try to eventually get either a 24 to 70 or a 28 to 75 and then just suck it up with the 20 to 40 and not pair it up instead of bringing my 35 to 150 because it is a little bit to lug around for too long a period. It really will depend on projects, obviously, because if I have certain things that I might need to really kind of condense down to bring that lens with me because of the range that it has, fine. But overall, going forward, I do want to have a little bit more of a condensed setup. Having my A7C Mark II was just really great to have, honestly, because I actually saved it for not being too overly kind of heavy. And that was the point of it all because I wanted to have my 20 to 40 for just a lot of walking around, minor setup in the sense with the A7C Mark II. I even used my ZVE1 quite a bit for the video part, but I even had to use my A7S III mainly when we went out for the photo walk and other videos and stuff like that because of the possibility of rain. That one has better weather sealing than the ZVE1 since they say they kind of do, but I don't really like risking it just because of the way that it is for the camera. But overall, I think even I have a trip coming up to the UK later on in the year, and I think for sure in that one I'm going to bring my A7S III, but I'm probably gonna try to decide if I wanna bring the A7C Mark II or the A7 IV, depending how bad the weather might be. Because as much as I do love the form factor of the A7C Mark II, they don't have like the IP rating for like the weather sealing really. So I don't wanna like risk it, and the A7 IV has supposedly better weather sealing, so I can deal with that, and it just feels good in the hand no matter what. So until I condense down to a smaller lens for those purposes is something that I'm gonna have to look into. But overall, yeah, that's what I thought was very interesting on this travel, is just as the more you walk around, the more you're out and about. I honestly wish I could have just brought like just only my sling bag and then not worry so much about the video part. And I did use my phone for quite a bit of things because of the Blackmagic Design app. Having my LUT over it, it doesn't mean that I have to, color grade as much after. Is it perfect? No, but it'll do the job. The main thing is just that I think as you keep walking around, you start noticing how much less gear you want to have, and that's what like kind of this trip kind of brought to my attention, I guess, even more than usual, which is perfectly fine. I mean, that's the whole purpose of traveling and experiencing, things with your gear, to figure out what to do. And that's what this did. So if you're wanting to travel to New York City, I would 100% recommend doing a smaller setup when it comes down to your focal range. 24-70 will really be more than enough, I think. Once you start getting into that gray area of like the buff telephoto range, you can get some detail shots, like I said, but is it going to be necessary? Probably not. Cropping a little bit never hurt anybody, or getting closer as well. I know sometimes you can't, but you just gotta do what you can when it comes down to that, so that you're able to just go ahead and simply create content without feeling like fatigued or anything like that. For us, we kind of had to go a little bit faster and about because of the time that we had out here. So we just had to have fun with it as much as possible, but it was exhausting to have the gear that I had to a certain degree to make sure that I capture what I needed to for these YouTube videos that I want to make. But obviously it's my own doing, so it's not a complaint or anything. It's just knowing what I would want to try out for the future. But let me know down below your thoughts on when it comes down to traveling with the gear. What's the best gear that has helped you out to create with good versatility and everything, because it might help me out to know what to do in the future. So make sure to comment down below to let me know your thoughts on that, so I can go ahead and maybe look into what lens I could bring out for more travel, because I know I have my 20-40 by Tamron f2.8, and I do have the Sony 20-70 f4, which I wouldn't mind for photos when I'm out and about. For video, maybe if I'm using my A7S III, it'll be fine because of the low light capabilities. But I know that f4 can be a little bit, hard once you get to the travel parts of things, because if you're traveling, let's say once it's more like the winter time, it gets dark earlier, you kind of want to have good low light capabilities. So an f2.8 will probably be the move going forward for me. But let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to know, because it'll help me out and probably help somebody else out. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video. The plan will catch you guys on the next one. See ya.